Hey, world. Welcome to the Geekish Network, the BingeWorthy podcast, part of the Geekish Network. My name is Johnny Randolph, and I am one of your hosts today. And I am a speaker, trainer, and a podcaster. And I've got two badass co-hosts with me today. And my first co-host, he is a serial entrepreneur. He is a game developer. He's just an overall cool ass person, the salt and the floss. Say what's up to the people, Chuck.
What's up, everyone? What's up? Woohoo! We're here. We're here in the new home. Kicking my feet up right now in the new home.
Dog. And my next co-host, he is also an actor. He's a writer. He's a director. I call him the Game Spitter because every day on Geek Beast and right here on the BingeWorthy podcast, you can catch my man spitting that fire. Say what's up to the people, Centel.
Yo, what's cracking? Cobra Kai, do or die. Cobra Kai, do or die.
Hey,
the show makes you think of?
Hey, and we are the BingeWorthy podcast, and we got to give a special shout out to one of our missing co-hosts, Miss Courtney Scott Wright, the dynamic diva. She's off right now, but she may pop in, make a little guest appearance, drop her rating, and then we can head out. Now, if you didn't know, the premise of our show is that every week we will binge watch a television series, and then we come right here to the BingeWorthy podcast to discuss that series. And then we, at the beginning of our show, what we will do is we will rate the series based on our unique binge-worthy scale. And then we engage in a high-level conversation. And at the end, we rate it again. Perhaps after our high-level discussion, some of our co-hosts may be influenced to change their rating. Now, speaking of rating, our binge-worthy scale is at a number 5. It is a full binge out. That means that shit is delicious. It's on fire. You just can't get enough of it. It's one of those shows where, you might curl up on the couch with your boo and, watch it over one sessions for, the weekend, over a couple of days. It is something you definitely don't want to miss. Now, at a number 4, it's a full meal. Now, a full meal, it's not quite a full binge out, but it is definitely worth your time to invest in watching this property. You will not be disappointed. At a number 3, it is a mini meal. And a mini meal, it's not bad. The shit's just not good either. It's like, it's a TV dinner. And it don't have all that good Lowry seasoning to make it better either.
Lowry's.
Right, Lowry's. Y'all know what I'm talking about out there. And at a number 2 is a snack. A snack is something, man, you just watching this bullshit because ain't nothing else on. You know what I'm saying? Like I described it last week as it's like watching the Lions on television. Just ain't nothing on during Thanksgiving. And finally, at a number 1 is a cringe-worthy. And that just means this is some old bullshit. And as I always say, Chuck, why the hell did you recommend that we watch
Slandering my name again. Slandering my name.
Hey, man, we got a new audience, so I got to keep it real. I got to let the family know how
y'all hear this? This is slander. This is family slander right now. Why'd you make us watch it?
Why you make us watch it? Okay, so we're gonna start off. We're gonna start off with you, Centel, man. Well, this week we are watching Cowboy Bebop. And it is the live action version. So we're gonna start off with you, Centel, man. How you gonna rate Cowboy Bebop, the live action version?
Oh man, okay. So I can't lie, man. This one was disappointing. Yeah. I was expecting something to be a lot more. I think it's got some really good aspects regarding like the way it looks and the way it makes you feel nostalgic. But the story just didn't seem to want to be interesting. It wasn't overly bad. It just wasn't interesting. I probably would have given it a cringeworthy if it wasn't for 2 episodes, episode 8 and episode 9. The last 2 episodes was good enough for me to make it a snack. And we'll get into the details on why that is.
Okay, so you're gonna rate it as a snack. All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna jump in here, gentlemen,
Okay.
and I'm gonna be real honest with you. I thought this was terrible. I was thoroughly disappointed. They gave a lot of backstories to a bunch of characters that didn't have backstories, that didn't make sense to me. A bunch of twists and turns in the plots that just didn't add up. The characters that they were trying to, they already had a solid foundation. They were giving us weak backstories that we didn't need, and it didn't move this story at all. So, Chantel, man, you gave it a snack. I'm going to go ahead and go with your original thought. I'm giving it a cringeworthy.
Oh,
wow.
Giving it a cringeworthy.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I feel you, fam. It's all that
Chuck,
potential.
Man, yeah. So Chuck, man, how you gonna rate Cowboy Bebop?
Man, I've been thinking about this the last 3 days. Initially started off as a snack, and I kept going back to the look of it. I really like the anime look of it, and I think the juxtaposition of it looking like anime being thrown into a Western story is what hurts me the most. It was like they westernized the hell out of this story to the point where it wasn't good at all. And I'm gonna give it a mini meal. Y'all almost had me talk me into a snack, you guys. But I said mini meal, because I love the anime. I want to see more things like this. I want to see. I thought the casting was well casted. We'll go into it. Yeah. I don't want to dive too deep now. I don't want to hog the mic right now, but I'm giving it a mini meal.
So you gave it a mini meal. Centel gave it a snack, and I gave it cringeworthy. So that equals out to 2. So that's right at a snack. A snack.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, yeah. Chuck, you brought up an interesting point, and that's one of the questions that I wanted to ask you guys. I gave it a I gave it a cringeworthy, and I'm sticking by that. And maybe you guys can convince me. But what I did enjoy about it was the look.
Oh, we got to tell the guests that we do a double vote. So we vote at the beginning and vote at the end too. Okay, cool. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine. So we vote at the beginning, and then we have our discussion, and then we vote again, and we might change our rating. But was the look of it? I thought they did for a live action version. I thought the look of it was really cool. I really enjoyed that part. So Centel, man, I'm interested. How'd you feel about the look?
The look was okay. So there's 2 looks. When you're talking about like the vehicle design, and when you're looking at the planets and the planetscapes, like everything that was CG was super good. The CG was mind blowing. I loved the vehicles, which was a shame because we didn't get any like real fighter battles, like in the cartoon, in the anime, like Spike, you get a chance to see like some real, some plane battles. Even with Faye Valentine, shoot, man, everybody, but you don't really see that. You get like one, and then you don't see it anymore. And obviously that's really expensive. But then there's the set design. The set design at times felt like I was looking at a Broadway play. It didn't come 100%. And then there was other set designs that looked like really, really well done. They did a really good job of that retro feel.
Time out. Courtney says she gives it a cringeworthy too. She came in the chat, said I would give it a cringeworthy.
Yeah,
I jump in. If she can,
no, she's probably on the road or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So some of it felt like a Broadway set. Some of the costume was okay. The costume was okay, but the chef's kiss was the CG. The CG was just like, they blew a lot of their wad on that, and then everything else just kind of fell a little short. Everything was nostalgic enough though.
Okay, all right. Chuck, man, they had a lot of action sequences. This is an action series. What'd you think about like the fight scenes?
I thought the fight scenes felt classic. They felt old school type of fight scenes. They were like old kung fu film fight scenes where they stop and pause. They do the pause motion. It wasn't a lot swift. John Cho actually injured himself and was out for like 6 weeks. So I think that was early on too. So I think they chilled back on the fight scenes a little bit with them.
John Cho getting old. That's why.
He is getting old. He is
insurance is like, nah.
He is getting
John Cho on the phone like, yeah. So scale it back.
Yeah. He wasn't built like this. This is not his jam. This is not his jam. But I did like the fight scenes. I like the fight scenes better in the anime because the anime is so stylized, so they can elongate things. I mean, it felt like human fight scenes in this, like old kung fu fight scenes. It didn't feel like anime fight scenes. And I was hoping they make it feel like anime fight scenes where the movements sling long, arms got longer than what they usually are. And they didn't pull those camera angles and stretch it. So I think their fight choreographer and the cameraman were not in concert together to make really, really dope fight scenes.
Well, I mean, it is a live action version, though. Like, it is a live action version. So what we want, like, a live action version to have the same fight scenes as an animated.
I did. I wanted them to push it. I mean, the look was anime. The first episode had me convinced, oh, this is gonna be just like the anime version, right? I was thinking, oh, they gave me the girl, they gave me the guy, they gave me Asimov, and I thought they were going to nail it. And I was like, oh, they're going to nail it. They're going to nail it just like the anime. And then they gave me one episode to all the super fans. Then they quickly deviated the whole entire storyline. And
they deviated the storyline in the first episode. They deviated the storyline.
I was okay to accepting some deviation to modernize it. I was okay with accepting that.
But I thought they gave us enough in the first episode that it would satisfy the appetite.
I thought that's what they would do. But they give us every episode over to modernize it. And they didn't give us that. It bothered me the whole entire time.
But okay, I just wanted to piggyback on what you on the fight scenes. I was kind of just mad on most of the fight scenes until episode 9. Man, episode 9 to me was what the entire series should have been. Episode 9 was awesome. It had everything. That fight scene when Spike is about to walk into the house of where all the people are at, and he kicks the door down, and it's ass kickery and full effect.
That was amazing.
And it looks amazing. It was like
amazing.
It was a half a hat tip to Old Boy. I saw that. I was like, ooh, they giving some homage to Old Boy, and it worked. And I was like, why couldn't the other fight scenes be that? You know,
that's when I think that's when the fight choreography and the cameraman actually loved each other and just gave us, because it was like, oh, they elongated the moves. Like he turned around the guy and grabbed the hatchet, and he had the gun. He was shooting, then shot like that. Then he threw the hatchet. I was like, oh, that's amazing. It told the story too. He just followed him out to the house, and then he told the girl to run, and she ran, and then he popped her. Pow! He had a pop. I was like, oh, fearless, vicious.
So good. It was so good. It was like this the entire time. And episode 9 was like, I was like, it's too late. I'm like, you probably lost half your audience by now. It's like
I got some issues with episode 9 too. I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. So let's jump into some of the characters.
Courtney called out the main character of the whole entire series. She called it out in the chat. Courtney, if you want to come in, you can hop in. If you
come on in.
Yeah, hop in. It says, and the music was more Frank Sinatra, big band, and not enough suave, sexy, smooth jazz or bebop. It wasn't bebop. And the music is a character, and it was white character as opposed to the black jazz character.
But in the anime, it wasn't all that either. They did experiment with some other forms of music as well.
They did. They did the Steven song at the very
I forgave it a little bit. Yeah, I forgave it a little bit.
But they should have done bebop. It should have felt improv. I didn't feel like this story was improv. Like when you watch the anime, it feels like every episode is kind of random because they're all individual packed.
It is random.
Yeah, and that's bebop.
Right.
That's what bebop is.
See, and this is one of the problems that I kind of had, and we talked about it last week with the animated version. When it first premiered in '98, it was just legendary and everybody loved it.
Legendary.
We talked about, though, it didn't quite age as well because we've had innocence and sophistication and storytelling. So now they have a chance to update that, right? And I thought they had a lot of misses because they were trying to put in kind of what you said earlier, Chuck, like these Western ideas, and it wasn't true to maybe anime Japanese type of storytelling.
Yes.
And they gave us a downright out villain, or at least at the beginning of it. Well, and we'll talk about all those things. So let's jump into our characters. So we got John Cho as Spike, or Fearless, a bounty hunter born on Mars with a history of violent gang activity. So how do we like Spike or Fearless as a character in the live action version? I see Centel, you jumping out your seat. So
I do. Let me just say something. Listen, John Cho looks great on the poster board. He looks great on all of the banners, the poster boards, the small snippets. But when you see him in action, I don't know if it's believable, because one, he looked old. Like John Cho, he's starting to show it. He's starting to get a little long in the tooth. Spike in the anime was relatively young. Spike in the anime looked like he looks like he's in like his mid-20s, maybe. You know, John Cho looked like he's in his 40s, man. He looked like he's in his mid-40s. and it may not have translated as well. Like some of the fight scenes, he looked like he was laboring a little bit. So John Cho was okay. He just didn't. I don't think he matched the cool either. I think he looks good on the poster, but when you see it in motion, it didn't hit the mark. Not my Spike. Hashtag not my Spike.
I thought he matched the coolness, the apathy, like that sort of recklessness that Spike had in the animated version. I actually thought that he did that. He had a few cool one-liners that he dropped throughout there. I thought that was cool, and especially episode 9 that you talked about, Centel.
He came with it in 9. Though.
It's kind of foil to Vicious. I thought was pretty accurate from the anime. What about you, Chuck? How you feeling about Spike?
Man, Courtney ruined it for me. She said Andrew Koji, and I haven't got that out of my head yet. Andrew Koji would have been the perfect Spike. I'm like, man, Andrew Koji would have killed it. They threw the little afro wig on him. He would have crushed it. He would have crushed it. He would have.
Yeah, he would have.
I mean,
I agree.
I mean, he's older too, but he's not as old as John Cho. Like Andrew Koji looks like late 20s, early 30s.
What's Spike look? Spike looks late 20s, maybe
early 30s. Yeah, and John Cho looks late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah, I mean, John Cho's older than us.
Yeah, like, he's older than us.
He's like 4 years older than me, so like he's he looks it like
he looks good for his age, but
50.
not playing a 20-year-old.
Right? Yeah. That's what I'm saying, man. Like they really legitimately cast a 50-year-old man to play somebody that's supposed to be like in their mid-20s, and when you see the close-ups, it's like ooh,
yeah. It was truly Courtney Wright ruined it for me. She said, "Hey, I wish he was here," because she'd be like, "You're right. Andrew Koji would have killed it." And after watching him in what's the series we reviewed? The Western, the Asian Western series.
Not Hero. Was it Hero? No.
I can't remember the name.
How we would do some of these series.
Warrior.
After watching Andrew Koji on Warrior, I was like, oh, he would have crushed it. He would have crushed it.
He would have destroyed it.
They should have hired that fight choreographer too. They should have hired that fight choreographer.
Yeah, and he would have killed it in look. He would have killed it in swag, and he definitely would have killed it in the fight sequences.
Yes.
Like you could feel John Cho's 50 in them fight sequences.
Yeah. You could.
Yeah. And you wouldn't have had that.
But his look as Spike and all the marketing materials, he looked amazing. He looks even when
great.
Even when he posed in the show, when he was talking, it's like, oh, that's Spike.
I agree.
That's Spike.
Yes.
It all fell apart the moment he actually went into action.
When you saw it in motion, it was like, ooh,
yeah, you move like me, old man. You move like me, old man.
You look like your knees hurt.
So let's talk about another character, okay. Jet. We didn't talk about Jet a lot last week. So partner, former ISSP detective and a captain of the Bebop. So how are you guys with, they make Jet black?
His name is Jet Black too. That's even more interesting. I think he was probably the anime creator probably wanted to make him black initially, but it's Japan. and
I mean, he has a darker tint in the anime. He does.
Yeah, he does have
he's got a slightly darker tint.
Slightly, but he's dark in this, and he's black. Yeah,
he's black. Yeah, he's black. Yeah, he like me black. Yeah.
He black. He double black.
So were you guys cool with making, Spike?
Yeah.
I mean, Jet being, kind of the deadbeat.
His name is Mustafa.
He was deadbeat.
It's kind of a deadbeat. We're cool with making the black guy the deadbeat.
Yeah. See, my issue with it is my issue with the whole series as a whole, and that is it was just mediocre. I thought he was gonna give like this absolutely like crazy performance, and it was just okay. It wasn't really memorable. Hey, what's up, man?
We have a sighting.
She's coming in from set. She's like, look, I'm around the corner. I'm on set. I'm
Miss Courtney Scott Wright.
Okay, let her do her 5 minutes. Do your 5 minutes. Do your 5 minutes.
Okay, I got 5 minutes before, and hopefully I'll be able to come back in a little bit later before you end. Y'all being way too nice. I just want to put that out there. Y'all being way too nice. My rating is a cringeworthy. No, not. I didn't hear what you said, so I apologize, Randy. But I'm letting the other two know y'all being way too nice. You letting me stop. Centel, I got 5 minutes. Don't interrupt me, okay?
You right.
First of all, it's cringeworthy, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's the music is wrong. It's more like big band Frank Sinatra, and it's not like the sexy smooth jazz that was in the original. That's first and foremost. The music is a character. It's wrong. Second of all, so many things. Vicious, the villain, the story. There was what I don't even understand what that was. Like, you didn't need to change it. You need to build and introduce these characters just like they did in the series, as opposed to coming together to create some like random madness where we meet Julia in like episode 2 or 3. Like, what are you doing? Why did Vicious look like Lucius Malfoy?
Because he is Lucius Malfoy. He is Lucius Malfoy. I
thought it was the same actor. I did.
It is the same actor. That's Lucius Malfoy.
It really is the same actor.
That's
Lucius
Malfoy.
No, it's not.
No, it's Draco. It's Draco Malfoy. It's Draco Malfoy.
It's not. No, it's not. It's not even him.
I thought the actor that played him was Draco Malfoy.
No, that was not Tom Felling.
Okay.
Or Tom Felton, and it was not Jason Isaacs. It was a whole another actor. They just made him look like that, which is a problem.
I thought it was him.
Everybody thought it was him.
I thought it was him.
But no, this was cringe. It was honestly, and I'm sorry, I know I'm skipping to the end, but Ed.
Yeah, we haven't got to Ed. The way they ruined Ed, they ruined Ed.
I'm gonna have to compose. I gotta compose all my thoughts. But I wanted y'all to know you being too nice. Stop lying to these people. Okay. I'm coming back in at the end, and I'm gonna give you my full thoughts. But I needed y'all to, Randy, get in there, because they're not telling the truth. Okay. They're not telling the truth. And I'm angry. I'm sitting here listening to this podcast on the set, pacing. Okay. I need y'all to get together. Okay. Tell the truth. It's not a menu meal. It's not a snack. Okay. I love y'all. I'll be back.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Courtney Scott Wright.
Oh Lord.
So let's talk about some of the
She killed us, Intel. She killed us.
Let's talk about this story arc of Julia.
Okay.
Why did they change the entire thing? Why did she go from being domestically abused to being a supervillain? Like, why? What was it to gain by this dramatic? Because the character in the series is a whole lot cooler than what they tried to make her. And I was thinking, like, are they trying to like have a girl power moment and make her be like abused and then rise above it? But the character in the anime is a lot stronger and better developed than the character that they depicted on this show. Just what were you guys thinking about Julia?
Oh man. I thought
Centel, you're on mute, bro.
You're on mute, Cynthia. He just lost. Well, I'll go. I think
my bad,
Julia. Go ahead, Cynthia. Go ahead.
No. Okay, first off, there's way too much Julia and Vicious. Both of them combined. It's just way too much. You need to tone. If they're at a 10, they need to be toned down to about a 2. It's just way too much, and it's not interesting enough storytelling. Okay. So with Julia, I mean, we're in the times. We're in the era, and you can't just have Faye be like the main headpiece in this. You got to have something to counter Faye. And that's what Julia is. You got to have something and build some substance around her, but it didn't work. That's the thing. It's too much.
Because it's a contrived story point.
It's like a love story.
Beat up all the time. It's just like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are we here?
Yeah.
I mean, it's you got to throw in some abuse. You know, she's been controlled. You got to throw that in there as well. And like I had the same conversation with Chuck earlier. I'm not mad at any of that if you can make it interesting. I'm not mad at none of that. If you weren't ready to, go ahead and stand on your soapbox and speak your truth, I'm cool with that. But make it interesting. You can't do that and it not be interesting. Because now I'm like, now you wasted my time. And I feel like Julia wasted my time.
Yeah.
I think the whole story around Julia was horrible. I thought to make this a love story, I was like, oh, they westernized the hell out of it. They grind it into a piss poor Western story. I didn't even know much about Julia. I didn't want to know much about Julia. I didn't know she loved Vicious and she loved Spike. I didn't care about that at all. The only thing I cared about is Spike she was his red herring and he wanted to chase her and bring her back to him. And he felt as though she loved him and she didn't love Vicious, but she was running from Vicious too. I like the original. She was running from Vicious too. Nobody knew where she was at. She ghosted everyone.
Right.
That's what made her dope.
She was a much cooler person when we first met her than what this version we had.
We didn't know who Julia was in the first one. We didn't know she was a
killer
at all.
And that scene with Julia and Faye in the car in the animated version is one of the best scenes.
She says, tell him I'll be at the place.
Right, because we didn't know who Julia was when she's in the car with Faye, and then it's like, oh shit, that's Julia.
Yeah. And she's like, tell him I'll be at where I said I was going to be.
Like, well, how you know that? Yeah, and that was so dope.
That was dope. Yeah.
Vicious in the series was
a bitch.
In the series he's a bitch, and that's what I was going. In the animated version, he's a direct foil to Spike. They're equal, and you could see how they were once partners, and now they're enemies, and they're trying to. They make this version of Vicious, as Centel said, a bitch. And
whining and crying.
And then we got another Luke, I'm your father scene. Why did the elder have to be
his father?
I was like, oh my God.
I thought that was bad too.
Oh Lord.
Once again, episode 9, and there is one cool moment, and that is when you finally get a chance to see him stop being a bitch, and he gets like humbled by his father, and you get to see him like actually shrink in front of like the power of Emperor Palpatine. That was like the only time. That was the only time where I thought that was like kind of cool. But other than that, like Vicious, like they took the teeth out of him.
They did take the teeth out of him.
Why? Like in the anime, you got a chance to see him briefly for like a hot second, like episode like 4 or 5 or whatever, and then he disappears, and he's just this thing. He's like the boogeyman, and then you don't see him again until the end, and then you get to see why he's the boogeyman, because he closes shop. Like you're like, damn,
he killed his bosses. When he killed his bosses, you're like,
he does the cootie tie, and it's just like, But even in the early when you first meet him, you can feel his energy, right? You can feel that he's this guy from the moment.
Like, Courtney said something else too in the chat. They were never in space. And then the animated version, they spent a lot because it was expensive.
The vast majority, it wasn't in space. That's what I was saying, man. Those CG, you know what it is? The CG was so pretty, they went out of their price point. They went out of their budget. And that's why you didn't get a lot of space scenes. And I was like, this shit looks crazy good. It looks beautiful, but it's too expensive to be in space. It's just is. Maybe next season, then when they get a budget.
I don't know if I want to see a next season. And
Yeah,
one thing that made me really
if
upset
they can
the whole entire
replicate 9 and
season,
10, maybe
they turned Ed into Eden. First of all, and they didn't introduce Ed to the very, very end.
Yeah,
and they went through all of Ed's
context,
episodes that made Ed great. Like all the episodes that made Ed great, they basically blew through that storyline. They jumped up, they pulled parts to all the episodes around that.
Yeah, they're introduced her like, I need a bounty. Like, you can be a bounty and help me. You're Spike. I was like, oh my God.
I was angry about that. I want because that's not Ed. That's not Ed at all.
Like,
that's not Ed at all. It's like you missed the whole point that Ed is on the spectrum. And Ed goes by Ed, and you don't know who Ed is because Ed chose a male moniker online to be Edward. And the whole title of Edward was long.
Up the dog. They couldn't.
And they messed up Ian.
They couldn't get the dog right.
Dog was Ian.
Right. Ian's supposed to be like super smart and it just none of that comes through in this series.
No, they put a flashlight out of his eye.
I was about to hate that. Him shooting theater screens out of his eyes and stuff. I was like, that's what you're going to do with Ian?
Right.
Ian's just subtly really smart. They just, dang. Courtney's right. This is cringeworthy.
And then Faye's mother story. They threw in this Faye's mother story. Like, what was that all about?
Nobody wanted
that. That episode was at least that. I didn't hate
She got her vehicle.
On a scale of 1 to 10, it was a 5. Yeah, that was the big thing. That was the big thing. And but that didn't come until like episode 7, right?
Yeah.
That was like episode 7. I'm like, we're already like
made them
of the way through, and now you get her vehicle. Her vehicle is legendary. It is almost as legendary as Spike's. And you only get one opportunity to kind of hang it. Well, 2. You see it in episode 10 too. But like the vehicles are the thing. It's just a waste.
Yeah,
there's so many.
They wasted the ship. They wasted the Bebop. The Bebop was docked the whole entire time.
Yeah, it was.
The Bebop was docked the whole entire time.
And then when we get to Bebop on there, we got a mechanic coming in who seduces Faye. I'm like,
yeah. Well, you know why. You know why.
Totally pointless. Never seen a mechanic
taking
again.
shower bath showers. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what are we talking about here?
They were just like,
they try to modernize it, you guys, and this is the failed attempt of modernizing.
So I wanted Faye to be
Vicious was the actor who played translucent. Yes, you're right.
That is translucent from Bad Boys. I mean,
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that is translucent. I
don't know why
he was great.
I thought it was Malfoy.
Great in translucent though.
I thought it was Malfoy.
He was dope as hell.
He was dope. He could have been a dope Vicious.
I thought he was Malfoy too, but I was like, what?
He was a terrible Vicious.
Yeah, I thought it was Malfoy. I said they got Malfoy.
How you gonna turn Vicious into a bitch? I don't understand that. That's like
you
turning Vader into a bitch.
That's horrible.
You turn him into
and he's a bitch.
And turn him into a daddy's boy.
Not even a daddy's boy.
Not even a daddy's
disappointment.
boy.
He's daddy's disappointment.
Yeah, man.
He killed my mother when he made my mother walk off the building.
He didn't say even killed. Like he watched me as she jumped. Like, oh my God.
He made me watch her jump.
Oh my God.
It was bad. That's bad. That was bad.
Yeah, they even messed up the Echo Terrorist episode by turning people into trees. I was like, I wanted to see him get turned into monkeys. I was like, that's the thing, the whole monkey thing. I'm like, you turn them into trees, you turn them into ants. That was disappointing. And what's up with
the
all
tree
the
was kind of
ladies?
Cool though. I did kind of like the tree. I did like the tree.
You got the old lady in the animal print sweating jet. And I was like, that's creepy. Then you got the old lady that was Faye's mom. I was like, it's some real like full-blown old lady love that's going on there.
Yeah.
And it's not that the series has to match. It doesn't have to match the animated version. Because we talked about it. The animated version needed some update. Because storytelling has evolved since it was originally aired. But they didn't give us any interesting points. They took old tropes and just kind of threw them all in there together without any cohesion or any real direction. And it impacted the overall quality of the series.
It did. It did.
Yeah. Even the Groundhog Day episode didn't
looking
work.
like the anime and not being the anime that bothered me. It was like I wanted episode for episode the anime. The first episode, I was like, okay, that was a good update.
I thought it was.
I'm okay with that.
The
Then
first two, I actually was like, okay, but then
they
after that,
updated it. I can dig this. I was
You're
like,
living
but
on
they didn't show
nostalgia
Ed.
like I was.
They didn't show Ed. They didn't show Ed. They didn't show Ed.
Yeah.
it took significant drops after that. It was just like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
why did they just introduce and like did Jet really need a daughter?
No, that storyline was pointless.
Why?
Kimmy. I thought that storyline was
Why?
pointless.
Why did he have a? I don't understand. They turned
like,
Jet into it. Like truth be told, they turned Jet into a little bit of a bitch too. A little bit.
They did.
It's just
He was good until they introduced Kimmy. Like the first episode, I was like, oh, he's pretty tough. He's a tough ass. I like this.
and then that whole thing with the dog just went on, and I guess that was the impetus to introduce the dog, which like you neutered your whole thing about the dog. I mean, he's a dope character. He's a dope character.
They ruined Ein.
Yeah, like how do you fuck up the dog? Like
How you fuck up Ein?
how you fuck up the dog. That's the easy W.
Yeah,
It's the easy W.
That's
Smart
the
dog.
win.
Just make him a super
It's
smart
easy.
dog.
Yeah. And you had the episode where they were talking about was the red eye, the drugs and stuff. So you had that transition part, like, you know, they're chemically making them and all that stuff. But then they're like, dogs. Oh, I haven't seen a dog since they're in like museums or something
And
like
they
that.
kept, they kept beating that drum. I'm like, yeah, we get it. They're rare. We get it. You know the episode they really fucked up. The one they really fucked up was with Pierre the Assassin. The dude. They absolutely, and that's arguably one of the best episodes in the anime. Arguably is one of the best episodes. You get this assassin that is a sociopath who doesn't connect to anything. He's just like he just drops bodies everywhere. And he literally hands Spike his ass like handily.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, at least maybe they'll get the rap good. Like when he gets wrapped up from his bandages, and they only wrap just his arm. I was like, no, you got to get like the whole body. And then he didn't get his suit until like Pierre, the Frenchman, didn't get his suit, his telltale suit that he's known for, until the very end of the episode.
Yeah.
And then there's only like 2 or 3 minutes to fight. And then I was like, this was the money shot. This was the money shot, was that. And I'm like, how do you mess that up? Oh, that was so disappointing.
The way they introduced Pierre was horrible too.
It was whack.
You know, Vicious like, I need you to kill him. You can do that. Oh, you need me to kill somebody? I can do that.
No, he's scared of dogs. And the sound of the dogs freak him out. He's this badass assassin.
He uses dogs to project laser lights out their eyes.
Yeah, but in the anime was so dope because Spike is just minding his business and he accidentally just bumps into this dude. Yeah, it wasn't planned. He just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah, and the dude seen him and was like, "Oh, I gotta clean you up too." And then they just go. It's just like
that's what made it so awesome. They tied everything to this Vicious Julia Spike love triangle that didn't even have to exist.
It didn't have to.
Then the way they did Julia at the very end, you gonna give up all this, Spike? And she shoots him. It was like, I'm taking over. And she takes over the syndicate, really?
Why?
And she's like, you're an elder. And that means you don't have to be seen.
Nobody can see you. So I'll really be in charge.
You're a lounge singer. What do you know about running a multi-level organization? It's like, that's the part.
She's married to the man.
But it would have made more sense if maybe she if one of the main henchmen that got coerced, the other lady, if she was like, okay, I'll be a shadow behind you and then you can run it, I could believe that. But I'm like, what do you fucking know about running a shadow organization? Like you're a lounge singer. I don't.
Yes.
Everything about
they made her a lounge singer because we didn't know what Julia was in the anime. We had no idea what.
No, we had no idea.
No, that's what made it amazing. That's what made it amazing.
But Vicious and Julia were like the White Walkers in Game of Thrones. You saw them in the beginning, and then you kind of like you tuck that in your back pocket, and then you go about telling these stories, and then you realize there's something horrible lurking on the other side of that wall. And that's what Vicious is supposed to be. And instead, you took that away.
You got a trust fund, baby, with Vicious. That was incompetent and weak, and it was just pathetic. And so, like, your villain, it should be plausible that your villain can beat your protagonist, right? You he brings out the best in them. There was no point in this series where I thought Vicious is going.
Not one time, I was like,
no.
I'm like, Spike will watch this dude. Like,
Spike will watch it, right?
And his daddy told him that. His daddy told him that. It was like, not only will he wash you, he got your girl too. He even laying up your girl. I've been knowing.
Julia did have a lie though. She was like, I didn't think you knew. Because what kind of man would know his best friend is sleeping with his girl and then stay with her? I was like,
Julia, you're your trifling ass. Julia's trifling.
Yeah, they was making
twisted.
They made
Julia was kind of trailer park trash, right? I mean, like in the end, she kind of ended up trailer park trash, right?
Yeah.
And don't get twisted. Spike is a bit of a bitch for sneaking behind his dude back and banging out his girl. That's some whole shit. I mean, I was so disappointed in you, man. You broke the code, fam. You broke the code. But it was that in the anime as well. So, but it's still, it's like that just rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like,
that's why they shouldn't show it. That's why they shouldn't. Yeah, in the anime, we didn't know. Like, we didn't know what event kind of prompted it. It was just like, take her home. Then it was like, boom, chicka, boing, boing. And that was it, boy. That was it.
Like, that's all
that was it.
It took you to do a two-step with her. And then,
that was it.
Yeah, I was like, what woman does this? What woman does this to her man?
That? I've been in love with you since the first time I saw you. I'm like, damn, Spike, man. Bro code.
The anime left it ambiguous. You just didn't know the nature of the relationship.
You didn't know. All you knew
that's far more forgiving. That's far more forgiving.
And you didn't know much about. You just knew it was Spike. You just knew it was fearless and vicious. So it left the room open. Like, damn, how they get them monikers of vicious and fearless, and they being best friends, right? But here they had to give us the whole.
They told us syndicate. They were part of the syndicate, and they were military guys. Both of them were military.
Shave your balls.
I was like, why are they having? Why are we having a conversation about shaving your balls? Like, why?
Oh man, it's
all right, man. We got a little bit. Well, so we gonna rate this thing over again. Unless it's something else you guys want to talk about.
I mean, I'm still angry about how they introduced Ed. I've been thinking about that for the last 5 minutes, like the way they introduced Ed at the last scene, and I was like, and why is Ed so old?
It is kind of old. Because Ed looked like she's like about like maybe 15. Like 11, 12.
Yeah, she's like 15.
I was thinking 15. Yeah, I was thinking like okay.
Edward is 15. And nobody knows
she's a super
boyish.
Hacker.
Yeah, super hacker boyish.
Like, they could have had the thing about
they could have had the old man.
The chess game. The AI, like it was all this room for those type of stories, but no.
Yeah, man.
They
didn't even get the VCR.
Why the space bridge blew up? They didn't explain why the Earth is almost unlivable.
There was one monument. There was a monument that said this is to like the people that survived the space bridge, and that was the only reference that they gave.
Yep.
I was hoping like the whole VCR episode from the anime was interesting because they had to go back to Earth and they had to traverse this skyscraper underwater to try to go into a building. Like
it was
this
like
whole
a shopping
thing
mall
in order just to get the VCR so that they can, see this, so you can see this tape. But instead they was like, oh, nope, I got the VCR right back here. I was like, damn, that was a whole episode that y'all could have rocked or something.
They cut out a lot of good parts. The whole mushroom episode was amazing.
How you leave the mushroom episode?
And you learn about Ed. You learn about Ed.
Yeah, man. But no, we had to know that Jet had a daughter.
Named Kimmy.
Like, this whole
we had to know.
They didn't even stick the landing Go ahead. I was gonna say they didn't even stick the landing with Jet and his partner. That episode I thought it was gonna be like good and heartfelt, but it was still tongue in cheek. Like the whole thing was very tongue in cheek, except for maybe like 2 to maybe at most 3 episodes.
Yeah,
at no point in time did you feel like there was like real stakes.
Yeah, Jet realized his partner was the reason he lost his arm. Like he didn't figure that. Then the other police officer, Chambers, ends up taking his wife. Still smashing his wife while he was in a coma or something stupid. It's like, what?
It did not feel like there were high stakes in this.
No, there was no stakes, man.
It was like in the anime, you feel this every episode is a chance for Spike to get his ass kicked.
Well, it existed in separate vignettes. Now I know when Courtney discussed it, she said she needed something a little bit quicker, but like it was separate vignettes, and each episode had like stakes to it.
Nothing. There's no bounties. They chased no bounties. They were bounty hunters that had no bounties.
Yeah,
they literally had. They took out the whole point of them having bounties.
And them fucking up all the bounties. They took out a lot of that too.
They took out all the bounties.
Yeah,
it was a love story.
Yeah, it turned it into a love story. They turned it into a
westernized love story at that.
A Triway love story. Yeah. Absolutely. All right, so we're gonna rate this thing again. I started with Centel last time, so we're gonna start with you, Chuck. How you gonna rate Cowboy Bebop?
Courtney came in and spanked me. And then I started thinking everything.
It's like I can't believe how I give it that.
They ruined all the characters. They ruined it all. I wanted to hold on to it because of the look. The look is anime.
Yeah, and if you like the look, fam, you like the look.
It looking like anime is a 1, and everything else turns into some cringeworthy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you going with cringeworthy?
Yeah,
or
cringeworthy.
All right, Centel, bro, what you gonna go with?
Listen. I thought I was hoping one of y'all could change my views, one or the other. Like it wouldn't have ever gotten higher than the mini meal ever. But I was like, well, maybe somebody can push me to that instead. I think I'm gonna have to stay. I'm gonna have to say, because I saw the potential. I saw the potential of what could be in 9 and 10. I did like that. But the other 8 episodes were just, it was horrible. Y'all said something
in the first episode. The first episode, I thought I nailed it.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay. But listen, if I threw away nostalgia and I had to go straight on story, it's not good. It's just not good. And Court brought up something. I think it was Court. It may have been one of you. Please correct me if I was wrong. Brought up something that I never really realized, and that is, this is supposed to be like a space western. With bounty hunters going out and getting their man. In the background. And there's no space.
It's Cowboys and Bebop.
There's hardly none. None. Like that is and
you're gonna stick with a snack. You're gonna stick with a snack.
Listen, because I'm hoping if it does get a season 2, if it does, and they look at all the hate that is getting online, because it's getting a ton of hate.
It is.
And they're able to do whatever it is that we're able to find that magic in episode 9. If they could do that, then I think it can be good. I think it can, if you can get that spirit of episode 9 in. But right now, and only for the sake of episode, I'm gonna keep it at a snack. I'm not gonna call it cringeworthy just yet, because I see the potential.
They had 24 episodes and they flushed them all for these 10.
Well, I mean, it's still about the same, because they did it. The episodes range anywhere from, I think it was like 35 minutes up to one of them was almost an hour. So they had about the same amount of time to do it in those 10 episodes. So it was similar, and they did crush those stories. And guys, I'm sticking with I started off with cringeworthy, and I'm staying with it.
Yeah. I'm the only
3
cringeworthies
and
it was a snack.
One snack. 3 cringeworthies and one snack. I think that's nostalgia. A cringeworthy.
It's nostalgia, man.
I'm sticking with it. It was cringeworthy. Because I started off with
ruining my perfect mini meal, and I was like, it'll probably go down to a snack. Maybe they could probably convince me to a snack.
And the thing is,
I was like, y'all need to stop lying.
I liked the first 2 episodes, and then after that, it just jumped off the rails.
I liked the first 2 episodes.
It was so campy, and then they were just changing all these things. And then I was like, why are we getting all this backstory? why is the backstory weak? If you're gonna get this much backstory, don't make it weak. And then, as I said it, and I'm so tired of it being played over. I'm tired of the Luke, I'm your father shit. Like, I'm tired of learning about people being people's fathers. And I'm just like, we don't need this anymore. Star Wars came out in like Revenge of the Sith came out in what, like 79, 80. We don't need to perpetuate those tropes anymore. We just don't.
They took the time. Go ahead.
Another thing I'm gonna say is, to me, right? They screwed this up so badly, it makes me start thinking about Avatar: The Last Airbender. And it's already
very real talk.
It's already been mired in controversy.
Very real talk.
Then we get this depiction of what it did, taking a great series, anime or animation, doing a live action version of it and just royally screwing it up. So it starts to make me wonder, like, are they gonna do the same thing?
With Avatar. Yeah.
Yo, the creative team left. The writers was like, nah,
they turned it into a love story between Aang and Katara. Oh,
or Zulu and Katara and Aang have a love triangle or some shit. I'm like, no,
it won't be watched. It won't be watched. I would not treat it the same. It won't be watched. It'd just be something else they ruin, like they ruined the movies.
Yeah. So, all right. So, I'm sticking with my cringeworthy. Courtney did cringeworthy. So what's that? That's so we got 1 and 1.
Oh, it's a cringeworthy.
We got 5, a score of 5 out of 4. We got 1.25, guys.
That's cringeworthy.
That's cringeworthy.
It's cringeworthy. Yeah. Thank you,
I'm not gonna argue
Courtney,
against
for ruining it for me.
She was like, y'all tripping. She was like, you need to look yourself in the mirror.
It'd be a shame. She came in and was like, shame.
Why are you guys lying to these people?
She was like, she looked at us like, I don't even know y'all.
Shame. She said, I was on set pacing. She was listening. She was, I was pacing.
On the inaugural episode of the BingeWorthy podcast on YouTube, y'all out there lying to these good people out there.
Stop telling these lies.
I
Tell them how you really feel.
I started off with cringeworthy, man.
Oh, man. You know something else they did that didn't happen in the anime? Going to the full reason why Spike and Jet are friends and why they work together.
Yeah.
They left it like we
you saved my life. Like, nah.
No, we didn't know any of that. We didn't know anything why they even met. All we know is they worked together as bounty hunters, and that's what their thing was. We're about getting this money.
Right. And the chemistry between them was great, like in the animated version. And we don't need to know how you met.
And Faye came in and it was a fuck all to everything. It just was like, I don't like Faye, but they have to have her. It's like she's like the character you don't like, but that has to be on the team.
Yeah, Faye was okay. I still wanted more. I still wanted the Faye that was coming in, stealing their money and gambling that shit away. I wanted that Faye.
That's the Faye.
She come in and doing the shower.
It's like, what?
Yeah, I wanted the Faye to hop in her vehicle and just go. Like, you know what?
And just dip and be like, I'm out.
I'm out. I'm gonna get my own bounties.
Paper, scissors or Martian, whatever. It was just like, why? What are we doing here?
We always choose the third one. Yeah.
What are we doing? All right, fellas. All right. So, Centel, you got any parting words for the people, man?
I think we're doing Arcana, right? Arcane.
Yeah, Arcane. Yeah, Arcane is next up on the watch list.
Yeah, I've already seen it. Listen, and I can't wait to see it again. I'm gonna leave it at that. All right.
Ooh. Boss man, you got any parting words for us?
No, man. I guess we'll start watching Arcane. I'm 3 episodes in already, so I finished the other 6. Right, it's 9 total, right?
It's so pretty.
It is pretty. It's
so pretty.
It's disgustingly pretty.
I'm not gonna start going into details. We're gonna save it, but God, it's art. It's art. You're watching,
especially when they do the explosions and shit, and they go in that 2D explosion effects.
It's like so pretty.
Hey, say hey, man. Yeah. Say that for next week. Say that for next week.
You're right.
You got it.
Cool. Well, that concludes our show today. Thank you guys for tuning in, and shouts out to Digital Click. You know, they keep us looking fly so we can perform well at our best. If you are interested in enhancing the marketing needs and promotional needs of your organization, man, do not hesitate to get Digital Click a call, because they are fabulous. Digitalclick.com. All right. And so tomorrow we're going to be going on with Origins Illustrated. Now, Origins Illustrated, it is a show that reviews comic books and sci-fi and fantasy and all things geek from a female perspective. These ladies are super sharp, and they are going to come and have a bevy of interesting topics to discuss tomorrow. And
Those
also,
girls good.
yes, good, man. And
Yeah,
also,
good.
check out Geek Beast. That's what your boys Centel and Chuck, as they argue it out and discuss the latest and greatest in the news out there. So tune in tomorrow, and don't, as we talked about a little bit earlier, don't forget to add Geek Beast to your regular rotation, man. The Geekish Network is a company that is owned by people of color, and we have a plethora of talent: writers, directors, actors, producers, podcasters, all people of color. And we want to do the best to bring you this information. We want to do our best to enhance the quality of your experience. So please consider subscribing to this channel. Come back here. BingeWorthy, we're going to be back next week at 8:00 Pacific time, 11:00 Eastern time. So give us a shot and give us a holler out. And you can always reach out to us on our social. So until next week, man, we'll talk to you guys later.